Thank you.
Senator Oruoba.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'd like to add my voice on Senator Onyonka's statement about illegal organ transport, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, this has since been brought to the public and to the limelight, Madam Speaker, that our youth particularly are being recruited by rogue agents, particularly in the area of Eldoret, Madam Speaker. They're being recruited to sell their kidneys, Madam Speaker, for less than 1,000 USD. Actually, now the going rate apparently is 250,000 to 300,000 for a kidney, Madam Speaker. And it has become such a lucrative business apparently for these agents, because once they do that, they are selling these organs, these kidneys, at about 9 million Kenya shillings to India. Madam Speaker, we have a whole group of cartels who are actually, they have organized that space in a way that it has become a norm in Eldoret particularly, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I want to say that it is unfortunate that this has even spread down to the labor export agents, Madam Speaker. Agents who are supposed to be taking people to go and work abroad are now looking for desperate youth to ensure that they harvest their organs, they make a killing in between for agency fee. Some are being lied to that they are going to work outside, Madam Speaker, and it's all under the government watch, Madam Speaker. So I hope when this statement is being dealt with, that we are not just going to give a report as usual, Madam Speaker. We have to see arrests. There are so many of our desperate youth who have ended up with severe complications because they are being told you'll get 300,000 instantly. Some are being promised with an exchange of a boda, Madam Speaker. Can you imagine? Someone is just, because they are so desperate, they're saying, let me give out my kidney so I can get a boda and start, earning and living, Madam Speaker. So I think this is unfortunate. This is not what this government intended to do with our youth. And it's a very, very unfortunate event. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Senator Sifuna.
Madam Speaker, I rise to comment on the statement by Senator Onyonka. But before I do, I have forgiven my counterpart from Kiambu. During the campaigns, we had a campaign where we used to transport people from Murima. They go and see how Western region and the lake looks like. We take our people from Western. They also come and see the difference between Kiambu, Muranga, and the others. Because some Kenyans, Madam Speaker, because they have never gone past their homes and their home areas, they don't know the difference between Kakamega, Bungoma, Vihiga, and Trans Nzoia. So to him, we all look the same. He looks at me and he says, Halwale. That we all look the same. But there is need for a cultural exchange, which is why it was terrible that Senate Mashinani, which was scheduled to happen in Busia last year, was cancelled. I think the senator for Kiambu would have benefited from that trip. Madam Speaker, I also watched with horror last night on the news these reports of organ harvesting at a very credible, hitherto credible medical facility in Eldoret. And many of us actually have even sought services there. Many of our parents, especially from Western Kenya, they consider this facility a very credible facility. In fact, when the late Lawrence Sifuna passed, that is a facility that was taking care of him. So we were in shock, Madam Speaker. But it points to a greater problem in the country, not just the exploitation of young people, the economic situation in the country, that Kenyans are so desperate now that they consider some of their parts of their bodies not useful, available for sale, so that they can eat. They can feed one organ, the stomach only, Honorable Speaker. It is a sad situation. And then in the papers in the morning, I read that there were top ministry officials in the Ministry of Health that doctored the report on this organ harvesting and trafficking business to remove what they call damning sections of that report. I think those are the people the committee should go for. Because if we are unable to provide a good living for our people such that they can be exploited like this, we at the very minimum should be able to catch the people who are exploiting them when it happens in the circumstances that have happened with the Medihill in Eldoret. So, Honorable Speaker, I think our committee should focus on those people. We want the original report, the unadulterated report, so that we know the culprits and we prescribe the best punishment for them. There should be arrests, as the senators who have spoken before me have said. And I don't know what is happening to professionalism in this country. I think, Dr. Khalwale, you must speak to this. Even those KMPDU, the unions, and the, the other one is called Kenya Medical Association or what? The Doctors Registration Body. They also need now to enforce ethical behavior within their own profession. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Senator Cherargei.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise to support the statement on the issue of kidney transplant operations by Medill Hospital in Eldoret. Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, I used to think this Medill group of hospitals was credible. As my colleagues have said, a number of us have sought medical services, but I watch with horror, gnashing of teeth, and with a lot of afraid, Madam Speaker, when I saw that some of our young people, the hospital was facilitating the transplant of kidney to Israel, Madam Speaker, and I'm happy the Israel Embassy in Nairobi has issued a statement condemning and saying they are willing to partner in the investigation. Now, Madam Speaker, and you remember in the last, some of the leaders of Medill, in the last session, colleagues who are not in parliament, when you used to go to Keses constituency, TVs were being given out, cows were being given out, and many things. Kumbe, they were just selling human organs to go and donate in campaigns in Keses constituency, Madam Speaker, and it was very sad that 372 organ transplant has been done. Madam Speaker, it's very unfortunate. The Ministry of Health must be called out for sanctioning and approving this process. I know in Kenya we don't have a proper law on how organ harvesting, selling organ transplant should be done. But it is a wake-up call that anybody who participated in this illegal syndicate of organ transplant and organ harvesting must be brought to book. I watch with pain that some of the young people who sold kidneys and other organs have now become weak. They cannot do anything, Mr. Speaker, even participating in conjugal rights, Mr. Speaker. So, Madam Speaker, so it's very unfortunate that this country is becoming like this. And I heard today Maina Kageni and Mwalimu Kingang in the morning at Classic 105 saying even some Kenyans, the economic situation is so sad that some Kenyans might even want to sell some parts of their body, like even fingernails and toes, Madam Speaker, so that they can cover. So it means there is a deeper problem of economic challenges in this country. We must come out, and I want to call out professional bodies and Ministry of Health to sanction all officials who participated in this syndicate, Madam Speaker. And in future, I want to warn Kenyans, when you see politicians giving out money without explaining their source of that money, be very careful. Because the same hospital were being used by politicians to get even elected to seats, Madam Speaker. So be very careful. Finally, on Teacher Service Commission promotions, I agree Teacher Service Commission is now the headquarters of corruption. They should be called to order. They were given 1 billion, they only promoted 25,000 teachers, and there was a lot of political patronage. TSC has been accused that they have even left their work of recruitment to other agencies, including politicians. They must be called out. Well, I support those statements, Madam Speaker.
Senator Okenyuri.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I want to begin by supporting the statement by Senator Onyonka on promotion for the just concluded exercise by TSC. Madam Speaker, when I use the words of Senator Cherargei, TSC is actually the headquarters of corruption, Madam Speaker. Notorious officials who I call rogue are actually soliciting for resources from very teachers who are already in a deplorable state, Madam Speaker, for them to get promoted. In the just concluded exercise, you have a teacher who has been in the service for over 17 years who didn't get promotion. But on the other hand, you have a teacher who has just joined service for just 1 year and they were promoted, Madam Speaker. How do you explain that, Madam Speaker? If I actually use the words of a trade unionist by the name Benjamin Burombo, who actually said, when I'm fighting for African rights, the other hand is busy keeping away Africans who are fighting me. Madam Speaker, I know corruption will always fight back, but this is not an issue we are going to relent about, because teachers will largely accept that also they deserve some kind of support and well remuneration so that they also can have the motivation to keep doing the service they are offering to Kenyans, Madam Speaker. So I want to call out TSC, and the officers in those offices have actually overstayed. But my worry is, even if they are going to be reshuffled, the culture is the same. It runs from the national to the ground, Madam Speaker. So I want to really say whatever they are doing will not be entertained. Madam Speaker, I also want to support the statement by Senator Cherargei on the tariff that has been imposed by the US government, Madam Speaker. That has effects on us, Madam Speaker, and I think as a country we need, on a serious note, to look at the engagement we are having with other countries. Just the other day, South Sudan banned having tea imports, Madam Speaker, from Kenya. That on a trickle-down effect, most tea farmers are going to suffer huge losses, and as a result, we are also going to generate revenue, Madam Speaker. So on a quick, that the committee that is going to look on that issue is my committee, Trade, Madam Speaker, and I want to promise Senator Cherargei that we are going to look deeply in that matter so that we sort out most of those challenges that have been addressed by the Nandi warrior, Senator Cherargei. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Senator Halwade.